for one thing, I would like to make it clear that I don't think I understand. As a musician, you know, there's certain things I don't understand of what you're doing, and I would like to maybe get them clarified in my own mind so that I can make them clear for the average reader too. Because what is happening in what people like you are doing harmonically is very hard to explain, very hard to analyze. Can you put it into words?
Well, it always depends on the subject of what you're improvising on, of course.
Yeah.
And then, the subject you're improvising on, and of course, if you're playing freer forms in the improvisation is much more freer, and you have more things that you can play. More. The line is not. The lines are not held to no chord pattern harmonically.
No, but what I don't understand is what are they held to? I mean, what is the difference between the limitations? There must be some limitations, otherwise you'll be arbitrary. You can just play any notes you like.
Well, that's the idea. You can't play every note you like. Of course, you only can play what you can hear. Quite naturally, more or less, I guess what I hear is not to your hearing. Not used to what your hearing is. So quite naturally, I hear more notes on the same thing that's been said before.
Yeah. What if your foundation is not a chord sequence, which is what the traditional basis of jazz was, and what is the foundation?
Well, some things like you play are not based on chords. They're just based on freedom of sound. And you start with one line and you keep inventing as you go along, line-wise.
Yeah.
And you keep creating until you state a phrase. And quite naturally, you're in, what is the word, intuitive? Is that it?
Yeah.
Whatever's around you are with you, working together. Of course, then there's another thing, and you play in the modes, and then even though you're in the modes, you play outside of the mode, coming in and out of what you're playing. So harmonically, it's not held down to the old thing of what you have a seventh chord, and you keep running the chord. Quite naturally, you run the chord, but you use other notes in the chord to give you to express another kind of song, or you'd be playing the same thing everybody else is playing.
Yeah.
So quite naturally, if I have F7, I'd most likely play F sharp, which is nothing but a flat 9.
Yeah.
I'll probably play an F sharp chord against that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I would play an F sharp chord just to play an F sharp chord. I could play F sharp chord, and it would sound. To me, it would sound okay with that F7.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's hard to say at the moment as I'm sitting here because, improvisation, the thing only happens at the moment of when you're doing it.
Yeah.
And quite naturally it might change. And
well, let me ask you this. If you've mentioned the fact that this is creative freedom in the early forms, do you think this, in these terms, that Charlie Parker or Dizzy or that's the earlier school lacked freedom or sound old-fashioned as a result of the developments that take place?
no, it's a funny thing, Leonard. I'm glad you asked me that. I'll even go farther than that. I had an experience. I played in a festival in Washington, D.C., and I got a chance to hear the Eureka Jazz Band. And, you hear them play, you just hear the band, and you hear the lead trumpet player playing the melody, and that's probably more or less you hear, then you hear the other sounds under the undertones of sound.
Yeah.
So I had a chance to get right. They were standing one time, and I stood right in the midst of them, you know.
Well, these old men from New Orleans?
Yeah, and listen to them play. And I couldn't see much difference to what I was doing to what they were doing. And the fact that they more like they were more tonal, of course, but they had a lot of freedom to what they were playing, because I could hear notes that they were playing that didn't have it, weren't strongly right into the strong chord of the chord, like a G chord or C chord. They were playing F sharps and C sharps. Of course, they were passing tones, but they were improvising.
Yeah.
And so I think they were the first freedom players, as you might could say.
Yeah.
And I think as music has progressed and guys are finding the more knowledge, and as music progressed, it just has led musicians to play this way, to use different forms. You have more to play. Quite actually, a musician coming up now, he has had more training.
Yeah.
Not to mean that he's better. I'm not saying that he's much better. I'm saying he has trained, better equipped, and he has a little more technique, so he doesn't know what to do with it, in case of myself. So I had to find something what to do. So not the sense of finding something to do just to exhibit my technique, to find something to do that has some kind of makes some kind of musical sense. Yeah. And I found that within my playing that I could play notes, not at first, because at first I couldn't hear these notes, so I wouldn't play them. But as I play more and more, I hear more notes to play against the more common chord progressions. And a lot of people say they're wrong. Well, I can't say they're right, and I can't say they're wrong, but to their hearing, they're exactly correct. Yeah. To my hearing, I'm right.
Yeah.
And
you think it's just a matter of the listener becoming accustomed to it?
Yeah, and it makes everything much more broader. It gives me much more broader. It gives me more things to play, and it opens up a whole different type of hearing. Now, and there's a lot of things, a lot of knowledge I knew about this